Hey guys, what is going on today? Bojo here, and we are going to keep the NHL 19 themed videos coming with this one today. Now, this video isn't going to be specifically a rant on NHL 18, nor is it going to be a wish list for NHL 19, but rather just some constructive criticism. Today, myself and a very special guest, which you guys will meet later on, will be reviewing all of the game modes in NHL 18 and giving our opinions on one thing from each mode that EA should consider changing for the new game NHL 19. I'll have a future video or videos that will go over all the good and the bad things from this year's game, so make sure you guys subscribe and stay tuned for those upcoming videos. Without further ado, let's dive in to NHL 18's most popular game modes. Starting off, Hockey Ultimate Team. Obviously, I'll dive into the good and bad about HUT in my future videos. I can nitpick every single little aspect of Hockey Ultimate Team if I wanted to, from card design, the rankings, the market, etc. But the core change that needs to be addressed is obviously the AI, which technically could be grouped with an overall gameplay issue change itself. Every year the complaint is the AI is too good. The AI isn't good enough. Players are too slow, too fast. That healthy medium has yet to be found with Hockey Ultimate Team, and the top players in this game use that to their advantage, resulting in a lot of skill zone type games and barely any types of player switching in the defensive zone. There are definitely counters to this playstyle for sure, but it's annoying to both play with and against in the mode. NHL 19 needs to find that medium for the AI to not be completely useless, but reason enough for the user to control their correct players and handle the situations accordingly. Practice mode has definitely gotten a big improvement from previous years, especially with the all new tutorials from Hockey Canada showing you the overall rules of hockey and the new mechanics in the game. Only thing I would change is to add more scenarios for you to practice with and adding in tutorials for all of the deeks in the game, not just the new ones that are introduced with each new game. I'd rather not try to figure out all the mystery deeks that aren't featured in the tutorials or the in-game menus. Now I'm going to hand things off to my special guest to talk about franchise mode, creative players, and roster management. I found the guru of all things in this field for the NHL series. Tugi, take it away.
Hey, what's up guys? Tugi here, back again, and first and foremost I want to thank Bojo for getting me involved with this video here. I don't know if I'd say I have expertise when it comes to franchise mode, but I do my best. Anyway, let's get right down to business. Let's start off with creative players. So rather than just saying EA should add more play-by-play names to the game, which they definitely should by the way, it's a bit ridiculous that some long-term NHL players don't have their name in the game. Oh, and feel free to add Tugi to the list, by the way. Or that EA should add more equipment, more sellies, appearance options. Although an appearance randomizer would be tremendous for someone like me who adds in dozens of players a year and can't be bothered to make them look accurate, at least not all of them. So, a randomizer would at least change things up. I, at the end of the day, cannot help but do what a lot of EA NHL fans do, and that's look at what other games have that NHL doesn't, and simply ask for EA to also use that idea. And if we're talking about a major change to creative players, adding secondary positions and more attributes like we see in franchise Hockey Manager 4 is the perfect way to do it. Cheap plug here, approved by Bojo, of course. If FHM4 interests you, check out my pinned tweet on Twitter. When it comes to a secondary position or having individual ratings like we see in FHM4, the benefit is obvious. It makes players more versatile and makes team building within franchise mode at least slightly more complex. And looking at how the AI operates, which is questionable, well, let's go with questionable, anything that gives them more room for creativity would be a gigantic help. Or we can keep having the AI GMs and coaches sit someone useful, or having them place those key players on the trading block when they really shouldn't be sellers. You know how franchise mode works. And as for the extra attributes, they also speak for themselves. Anything to help further differentiate players is a major positive for this game, and that not only applies for franchise mode, but NHL's gameplay as a whole. Now, it would result in EA needing to reweigh some of the attribute values. What I mean by that is strength, body checking, and defensive awareness, for example, impact a player's overall more than other stats. But still, reworking those, you could still have the same rating scale that we currently have. And not to mention, it would help out with the issue of someone like Connor McDavid winning the Selke year in and year out, mainly because he is the best skater in the game. Next up, let's talk about roster management. Now, the only thing that makes sense is to bring up the idea of a living world. Now, that's something I've discussed in length on my own wishlist video, but the idea is fairly simple. Franchise mode isn't just restricted to the NHL and the AHL with this idea. Every league in the game factors in. I'd like to personally see EA make use of the leagues that we have in the game rather than just having them in for really the sake of having them in and being able to say, hey look, this league's in the game, selling point, yay. Sure, you can run a season mode and things like playoff structure are accurate, but I also talk about the downside of the way season mode is currently structured. I'd like to see the leagues be in the game for more than just promotion, the usage of their logos and jerseys, etc. So how would this affect roster management? Well, take the ECHL, for example, where you'd actually be able to send prospects down that are under contract, similar to the screen that you would get for the AHL, rather than having them become invisible within franchise mode the second they are placed within that league. And last but not least, franchise mode itself. There's a lot that could be said and brought up when it comes to major additions for franchise mode, but the idea that I and many others have talked about in the past few years or so is still one that holds my attention, that being a fully fleshed out preseason and training camp. Again, this is just one idea. I'm not saying it's the most important one or the one I'd like to see above all else, but I do still want the ability to have Tyronning make it out of camp on a more regular basis. With the way the morale system currently works, you have different levels of player development. You have their actual overall, which within progress support shows up as a green, but you also have their statistical growth, meaning that they can play above their actual overall. So with this system already in place, you should be able to play prospects and fringe NHLers in the preseason, and they should have a better chance of making that rapid improvement that could lead to them actually being used at the start of a season. From there, maybe it pans out and they legitimately become that higher overall, or it proves to be a fluke, they settle back down to their actual overall, and you need to look elsewhere. Similar development patterns already occur for prospect progression, with some players improving by as much as 20 overall points throughout the course of a season, in my experience. That's a pretty good example of randomness being a good thing within franchise mode, and I feel like a training camp and preseason that actually matters would be another good example. So that's it for my time here. I want to thank Bojo for getting me involved with this video. I'm intrigued to see the feedback to the video, as you always see tremendous ideas and concepts mentioned whenever a video like this is made. Thank you guys for your time, and Bojo, back to you.
Well, this one should be obvious. A story. The addition of special player milestones and events are a nice touch, but the fact that Be a Pro has been fairly stale since making the change from Live to Life, not many people play the mode enough to the point to witness these special in-game moments. There needs to be a combination of the old Live the Life text boxes in addition to what we can now do in Be a Pro. Obviously, everyone wants the full-on narrative that other sports games have for their single-player modes. Baby steps, guys. The same goes for NHL 3s, if they decide to bring back that mode for NHL 19. Once again, the mode has great presentation value to it with the commentary, cinematics, and pure craziness that it brings. But it ends up just being play a game, unlock this, repeat. They need to give it something more. Both are just way too limited in my opinion. I know you can set up whatever teams you want and you could substitute custom teams till your heart desires, but that's pretty much it. You barely know the scores of the games when you simulate unless you actually do in-game simulations. Giving the user more freedom in setting the parameters for the simulations I think could definitely help these modes out a major bit, especially when the real-life playoffs and tournaments are taking place. Alright, so here comes another big one. The mode is moving once again in the right direction, and they need to keep giving players more customizable options with everything in EA SHL. Equipment, player looks, arena setups, etc. will continue to make EA SHL as unique as it is. Even maybe going so far as to making each player class even more special, giving them more freedom to change the way their players feel stat-wise, without giving them full control and straying away from those set player classes that have set the standard for esports leagues like LG. Speaking of esports, online versus should definitely be looked at getting a competitive search option for those looking to improve their esports game. The NHL for esports has picked up big time in the past couple of months, and adding in a competitive mode for online versus and even shootouts, since there really isn't much to change with that mode considering it's fairly bare bones, will really help narrow down those players who are at the top of the charts when it comes to competitive NHL play for versus. And finally, we'll end with this mode, which is technically in Hockey Ultimate Team, but I'll count it anyways since it's on the main menu. Not only do the rewards need to be addressed, but Draft Champs needs to not be the mode to introduce people to Hockey Ultimate Team anymore. The foundation is there to make this mode into that with which MLB has with Battle Royale. The better you do, the more you win, the better rewards you should gain in Draft Champions. Make the mode more competitive and not an ease into the rookies of Hockey Ultimate Team and the NHL series. So that'll do it, guys. Myself and Toogie laying out on the line one change that EA Sports should consider making to every single game mode that is in NHL 18 and hopefully should be appearing in NHL 19 as well. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe as always, make sure to go subscribe to my main man Toogie. If you guys are any with which interested in the franchise modes series of NHL, definitely make sure to check him out. He is for sure the guy to check out. He also does Twitch streams with these franchise mode series as well, so make sure to go catch him on that platform every now and then, but his links are all down below. And I thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys hopefully in the future with some more NHL 19 themed videos. If you guys would like me to bring back Toogie for another video, definitely let me know down below, and maybe he might make a special appearance on our goods and bads of NHL 18. So I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you again for watching. Peace.